Hello and welcome everyone, a new episode of Windows. We are going to discuss a very important topic. We are going to discuss political life in Egypt and youth participation in our political life. But before we start, let me first welcome my dear guest live here in the studio, Professor Dr. Ibrahim Ghazawy, our political analyst of this episode. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
Thank you so much.
And if you permit me, before going into the details of our topic and of this episode of Windows, let's first have a quick look on the current political situation and in specific focusing on President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi's current visit to the United Arab Emirates, as His Excellency was invited to attend the 45th anniversary of or the National Day of the United Arab Emirates. This is, of course, the slogan or the top headlines. But under this headlines, a lot of expanded meetings President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is conducting, whether with His Excellency Crown Prince of Abu Dhabi, Sheikh Mohammed bin Zayed Al Nahyan, or other high-ranking Emirati officials. How do you see the timing of this visit first? And second, the mutual and continuous consultations between Egypt and one of its very important allies, the United Arab Emirates.
Well, I will start with what you just mentioned in your last words. United Arab Emirates is the closest ally of Egypt in the Gulf area and probably in the whole Arab world. And it looks like we really need to focus more on how to invest on this warm historic relations between United Arab Emirates and Egypt.
Strategic partnership, sir.
It's really strategic. It's historical and it's popular as well.
Yes.
We have to remember always that late Sheikh Zayed, he has an Egyptian fan in every place in Egypt.
Amen to that, sir.
And this is a man that have attracted the love and appreciation and respect of all Egyptians.
Yes.
And we can never forget him. So we have to, and of course his sons, who is today running the country, not to mention the United Arab Emirates people themselves, who are, in terms of the relation, the emotional ties between them and Egyptians. And of course we have hundreds of thousands of Egyptians who are working in United Arab Emirates and who are being treated in a very manner. All of this is really supportive to more and more active and prosperous relations. That's why I look at the visit today from the point of a win-win situation between Egypt and United Arab Emirates. This is a historic time for both of the countries to build really on this warm relations, and there is no missing indeed to do that. As you said, the strategic relations, yes, it is so strategic indeed. And when we talk about the current political situation, we talk about the threats that surrounding the whole region. And especially the Gulf area. We talk about a time at history where most of the countries in the region feeling that they really need each other to be hand in hand.
Here, sir, I have two questions. Number one, of course, there is an agenda of talks. And as I said earlier, President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi is going to have a lot of expanded meetings, because this is the term which was used by the presidency, not only with Abu Dhabi Crown Prince, but with other top officials from the United Arab Emirates. Do we have priorities? I mean, is it going to be the security file, challenges facing the region, as you've kindly mentioned? Is it going to be first, no, it's the development and economic files? Is it going to be the partnership or the shared vision of Egypt and the United Arab Emirates regarding the Palestinian cause, for example, or the battle in Syria and Iraq? If we do have priorities, or if we want to arrange this into 1, 2, 3, then 1, 2, 3?
Well, I think one should be security.
Okay.
As I was just saying about the situation in the region, it's really sizzling. It's so hot. And a lot of problems, a lot of challenges are facing the Arab countries. All of the Arab countries, indeed, are in the same sizzling pot. So security-wise, we need to focus more on how to join hands and how to have similar or very close vision of how to deal with terrorism, how to deal with the internal threats, internal problems when it comes to some sectarian clashes or sectarian problems or historic problems, and whether inside the country itself or in the whole region that is surrounding the country. Especially United Arab Emirates, Kuwait, Kingdom of Bahrain, Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, all the Gulf countries are surrounded with a problematic situation where Iran is just looking at the Gulf area as a scene for their influence. Under the table, Iran is managing a lot of things.
Sure.
And we have witnessed that. We are witnessing it today in Syria, in Lebanon, in Yemen. And of course, there are routes for such problems to happen in most of the Gulf countries. So today there is an imminent interest for all the Gulf countries to realize that this is time for us to join forces, to join hands.
Then you see security, fighting terrorism is on top of the agenda.
On top of them, because it's an introduction to anything else.
To anything else. My second question is, are we ready to unite? Well, unity is the key word, as you've kindly mentioned, and President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi said it more than once and in many occasions. But are the Arabs, with the current situation, ready to unite together against terrorism, or each country is that much unfortunately involved into other issues regarding the local developments, and we are separate islands, not united under one umbrella?
Well, that's a good question indeed, and probably we have negative expertise in the past about our joint projects in general in the Arab region. But today, I don't think we have this luxury of keeping individually moving or working, whether internally or territorially. We do have a situation today where all of these countries under heavy threat, and probably all of a sudden we could find one of these countries collapsing, like Syria, like Iraq, like Yemen, like Libya. So we don't have the time, and we don't have the luxury of waiting until we realize that we should unite today. And let me tell you that being united doesn't mean necessarily that everything should be united between the two countries, but at least there should be minimum level of cooperation, serious cooperation indeed, joining forces, whether forces of civil society and forces of military side or security forces or whatever, joining the database availability between these countries, joining each other in planning strategically for how to encounter the problem itself, whether internally inside each of the countries or territorially when they deal with the threats surrounding all of these countries. So I do think today that such a perception of being threatened, I'm quite sure that all of the Arab countries feeling it today. And I'm quite sad to say that we learned the lesson, but the hard way, Yeah. We have seen a lot of countries around us, historical great entities collapsing around us because of the absence of the Arab decision in due time.
Yes.
I don't think that there is any wisdom in keeping the tempo of handling our problems the way it was. That's why I look at the President's visit today to United Arab Emirates as a take-off point for a new phase where we have to be together. This should be endless, and it should open a wide way for cooperation, simply because we are all threatened the same way. The same way when I talk about Egypt and United Arab Emirates, no Arab country is today safe, and this is fact. No country. especially Arab region.
When it comes to security or lack of security or the phenomena of terrorism, it's a global phenomenon, not directed to a specific region or a specific country.
Exactly, but even it takes even deeper, serious, level in the Arab region, because most of the world problems today, it happens to be happening in the Arab world or in the Middle East.
Yeah, we pay the price. I don't know why. Yes, exactly, from climate change to terrorism.
Yes.
We are going to go to the important topic of today, youth and youth, the real wealth of any country. And we are going to start, sir, but if you permit me, we do have via phone Mr. Nader Mustafa, a Member of Parliament. Thank you very much for being with us, sir.
God bless you. Thank you very much.
Sir, our topic today is the youth participation in our political life. First, I don't know how, your vision regarding this. Do you see or do you think that the Egyptian youth are keen to participate in political life, or we have entered a new era where the youth are keen to share and to build their country with their own hands, or till the moment the leadership or the government or at least the regimes we had in the past 30 years did not succeed to attract the youth to once again be integrated into our political life?
Allow me first to thank you and thank Nile TV to the effort you are doing in order to defend our media and defend our nation against the Western media, against us. The attacks going well, very well, as your honorable guest was saying, that the whole Arab world is suffering more than any other area in the whole world. But I want to speak about the issue of youth. I'm sure that the Egyptian young men are witnessing very important time by this kind of threats. They are the real power that can challenge, that can defend the nation on that very critical time. Maybe this is the most critical time in the history of our nation. I'm sure that the conference, the national conference in Sharm el-Sheikh, was a very important point. I'm sure that there will be monthly events that will help our new generation to express themselves, to share in the decision making, and on the same time we are witnessing some extraordinary kind of decisions, like that decision President allow group of young men to check by themselves the work of the Ministry of Internal Affairs or other organizations working in the issue of young men and their freedom of speech, has realized how the President gave those young men the chance to share in the highest level and to check the policies of different ministries. I'm sure that this is just the beginning. We are expecting a lot from the young generation in different parts of the government by working as vice minister, for example. And on the same time, I myself realize in the House of Representatives that situation is going in the parliament very well. The share of youth, the share of women, the share of handicapped, different societies are getting their just share, and they are active in a very strong way on different authorities of the nation. And the President of Fatah al-Sisi is very keen to allow all society to share in order to achieve political and economic development. And I'm sure that this will give us fruit soon, inshallah.
Mr. Nader Mustafa, Member of Parliament, thank you very much for your input, sir.